So this evening I'm doing a little bow training session. I find bow training to be the most phenomenal way of both building bow fitness, helping develop technique, and also just it creates this sensation of line. I'll explain while I'm doing the drills. It gives this sensation of line which just it physically instills in your body, because obviously you're training it, and it just develops this mental acuity of position, accuracy and deliberate positioning, stacking the bones up, which you can only do properly with an elbow sling, and it allows the brain to learn that position neurally, physically, and then for all of the tissues in the body, all the myofascial tissues in the body to align into that shape. So we're going to be doing a little warm-up first. In various of my other videos you'll have seen me talking about this. I always talked about if you're going to do even a small warm-up, you should always do some form of warm-up, but a really easy, if you're going to just do really short, like 30 seconds, a minute kind of thing, is small circles, small and fast, trying to change direction quickly. The idea of the change in direction quickly is that it activates both sides of the muscle group all the way around 360 degrees, and then big and slow. So big and slow opens things up, and then small and fast gets the muscle activation. That's a really nice one to do really quickly. Today I'm going to be doing it amplified by these WEC method propulsors, 8-ounce propulsors. They're basically a little canister of beads in them, weights that make you run faster. It's really fun. Anyway, I'm going to do the movement. The canister has beads free to move in it, and it just gives you that extra little oomph the whole way around the circle. And I'll turn it on its side. And then turning it upside down. Going through various planes in your warm-up, not just doing the same movement, but with different hand positions. Opens things up and just connects the whole body in all its different planes. Find it great to open the chest up. Remember, these are all muscles which are going to be used inside the shot. Now I'm doing a core pulse, a center pulse, but I'm doing that to feel myself in the core, and down through the low lat is really the core, because like we're monkeys, we grew up hanging off trees. So we use that lat to pull our body round. You can do the same with your hands, it works just as well. Don't ball your fists up. You can use control and put the fingers straight, flexed in and flexed out. You get that kind of, it's called the C fist. You can kind of see why, C fist. Just a little bit of that with this rotation through the core really activates all of the stuff around your ribs, all of the stuff down into the really important lower back fascia. Obviously everybody gets low back pain, and that's because it's this kind of rigging unit where everything else has its tension routed through, and the lats, these massive muscles that can both expand along their insertions and origins and their attachments, and contract along them in different proportion. These fantastic muscles that really should be used in the shot. I'm going to be talking about that quite a bit. So I'll do a little bit more for bow training, because it's quite a low intensity for me. I don't mind not doing quite as thorough a warm-up as if I was actually shooting. Shooting's a lot more dynamic, a lot more and therefore unstable. Causes a lot more pressure on the smaller joints. So this is my my bow from the last few years. This is Lazarus. Had him since late 2016, early 2017. Point formula factor. Exter limbs, our varied limb founded from 46 to 50. So now we've got an elbow sling here, and obviously my recurve bow. Just so you're aware, the glasses I'm wearing are red blue light blocking glasses. Red blue light blocking glasses. So they block out the blue light, and that allows my brain to fall asleep when it should, in terms of your circadian rhythms. Blue light contains an awful lot of the wavelengths, almost all light, particularly screens. That's why you have the yellow light filter. Every light, every artificial light. We were the first species to be smart enough to invent artificial light and dumb enough to live under it. Because when we see this artificial light, it basically, like, our eyes are wired directly into our brain and the different levels of our brain. So when our eyes, or our lizard brain, gets the input of this frequency of light, it's called junk light by the biohacking crew. This frequency of junk light allows you to, or not allows you to, causes you to be awake. It's just the waking up frequency of light. Wakes up your brain because it's the morning. But when it's not the morning and you want to go to sleep, not helpful. Not helpful. So my draw's not quite the same as I would do. I'd have a little bit more vertical motion, but quite often inside well, there's already some marks up there. So here I've got the inside out front shoulder rotated over, quite icy as some might think, the ice position. Inside out front shoulder, push forward and down. I'm pushing through my rib cage here, bringing the circle of force of the rear scapula, which is attached via the elbow sling here. This takes my fingers out of the play, but allows a fantastic feeling of line because the draw force is actually further into line than it would normally be, fully attached on your fingers. So normally I'll do 30 seconds up, 30 seconds down, which I think I'm roughly fitting because that's what I'm used to doing, and my brain will use the habituated pattern fairly well. And I can kind of see it on the camera. So 30 seconds up, 30 seconds down is the gold standard of fitness when you can get it for 30 minutes. You can do 30 minutes, 30 seconds up, 30 seconds down. You would be amazed quite how well you can manage a bow. You have reasonable technique, reasonable tuning, and that level of bow fitness, no matter really who you are, what your technique is, you'll do well. 1300 pace, I would say, for a gents feta. 650s in the 720 world. So that's for the non-archers following. The feta is the old Fédération Internationale Tir à l'Arc, international, it's now World Archery, the International Federation of, well, the direct translation of French is pulling the bow, tir à l'arc. It's very good to pay mindful attention to what you can feel inside the body, where the nociceptors and mechanical stress centers, Golgi organs, what you're feeling throughout the system. What that feedback's giving back to the brain allows it to learn the positions. That what you're actually doing here. A half-hour session of bow training is worth 300 plus hours, quite easily. 400, 500 even, depending if your shot timing's a bit quicker. A normal shot, you're up full draw for 5 to 8 seconds for most people. Some like myself at times have held it a lot longer. In Mexico 2017, I remember in the Mexico 2017, I got it was the World Championships, Mexico City. I got individual 9th, I believe, and a mixed team bronze with Naomi Falkard, the GB Team Olympian who just had her baby. Beautiful little thing called Emily. And she is, or was last year, nominated for Tokyo. The full women's team qualified their spaces, the Den Bosch World Championships, and the men's team as well. We did it first, they then followed after us. Boom, they then went on to get team bronze. Shortly after that, a gold medal at the European Games, where myself and Naomi again got a mixed team silver. Back in the days when there were tournaments. Soon. make sure you pay attention and see if there are any tournaments coming up. If there's any tournaments around you, look on. Ask your county, ask your region what tournaments are being held by the clubs. Go to them. Archery is a socially distant sport, and you can do it safely and enjoy our sport. It's something we can do where others might. Boxing, say, much more difficult. Squash, much more difficult. Archery, get out and do it. It's a fantastic sport. Field archery, target archery indoors, maybe not indoors for a bit, but there are plenty of indoor places that did get all their facilities COVID secure, so they have all these plastic screens up between the archers, and then you stay in your lane. Got the distance everywhere. They've got the 3.3 meters, I think it is, between face centers. The spirals which I've trained into my body from the rope flow and the other WEC method work. It's beautiful to feel how well they integrate into the movement that I've been training for a very long time. Just feeling a nice bit of fatigue, a nice bit of activation in behind the in here. The inside out front shoulder I talk about in many videos. It really does have an awful lot of biomechanical advantages and neurological advantages in terms of the cerebellum, the faster than thinking bit of the brain for movement patterns and such. It controls the inside out front shoulder. Is just easier for it to do. You get the rotations on the other side with the rolled over wrist, or the extensor hook as I call it. Good stuff. So there you have it. This is a good bit of bow training. I'm going to be carrying this on, but I'll stick on some a podcast I normally listen to, various different things. London Reel's fantastic. I really recommend Brian Rose. Really recommend Brian Rose. But London Reel, fantastic. So many things I listen to. Edward Troy's is just started, a good one. Stop Chasing Pain on I think all of them, I would expect. I don't want to bore you with too much of this. If you want to see more, I have many videos of me doing bow training and talking about archery, etc. Hope you have a great day. Learn the A-OK.